Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization was a momentous occasion. It started with a ripple in the space-time continuum detected by observatories around the globe. Astronomers and scientists were abuzz with excitement and fear as they scrambled to analyze the anomaly. Within days, it became clear. An extraterrestrial fleet was en route to Earth. Governments mobilized, the United Nations convened emergency sessions, and the world watched in anxious anticipation. The fleet of the United Galactic Federation, UGF, entered the solar system with a grandeur that left even the most skeptical speechless. Massive starships, brimming with advanced technology and alien designs, settled into orbit around Earth. Dr. Emily Carter, a leading astrophysicist at NASA, stood among her colleagues at the Kennedy Space Center, eyes glued to the sky. The alien ships were beyond anything humanity had ever imagined, colossal structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "They're here," whispered Dr. Carter, her voice trembling with awe and apprehension. As the world watched, the UGF sent a message, broadcast in every major language. High Chancellor Zalthor, a regal figure with an aura of authority, introduced the Federation. He spoke of peace, cooperation, and the sharing of knowledge. But beneath his eloquent words, there was a subtle undertone of condescension, as if he were addressing a child. Captain John Harris, a seasoned officer and commander of the UNSC Ascendant, was appointed as Earth's representative for the first formal meeting with the UGF. The meeting took place aboard the UGF's flagship, an imposing vessel named the Zenith. Harris, dressed in his finest uniform, boarded the alien craft with a mixture of pride and trepidation. The interior of the Zenith was breathtaking, gleaming corridors, intricate alien art, and technology that seemed like magic. Harris was led to the Grand Chamber, where High Chancellor Zalthor awaited him, flanked by his advisors. The chamber was filled with the soft hum of advanced machinery, and the walls were adorned with holographic displays of star systems and alien worlds. "Welcome, Captain Harris," Zalthor greeted with a nod. "We are pleased to finally meet the representatives of Earth." Harris straightened his posture. "Thank you, Chancellor. On behalf of humanity, I extend our hand in friendship." The initial exchanges were cordial, but it quickly became apparent that the UGF saw humanity as primitive. Zalthor's questions about Earth's technology were thinly veiled insults, comparing human achievements to the Federation's millennia of advancements. At one point, the conversation turned to Earth's military history. Harris mentioned the various conflicts and the evolution of human weaponry, intending to highlight humanity's resilience and ingenuity. However, when he spoke of the antique weapons preserved in museums, Zalthor's lips curled into a condescending smile. "You keep relics of such primitive tools?" the Chancellor remarked. "Fascinating. I suppose they serve as quaint reminders of your species' early struggles." The room erupted in polite laughter from the UGF delegates. Harris felt his face flush with anger and embarrassment. He had not expected respect, but the open mockery stung deeply. He clenched his fists beneath the table, vowing to find a way to prove humanity's worth. After the meeting, Harris and his team returned to the Ascendant. The atmosphere aboard the human ship was tense. Harris gathered his senior officers, including Dr. Carter, to discuss the situation. "They see us as little more than curiosities," Harris said, pacing the room. "We need to show them that humanity is not to be underestimated." Dr. Carter, still carrying the weight of the aliens' laughter, had an idea. "Captain, I've been researching Earth's historical weaponry. There's an artifact at the Smithsonian that might be of interest, a flintlock pistol from the American Revolution. Perhaps we can use it as a symbol, a way to remind them that even the simplest tools can change the course of history." Harris nodded slowly, seeing the potential. "Bring it. Let's show them that humanity's strength lies not just in technology, but in our spirit and our will to defy the odds." As preparations began for the next meeting, Harris and Carter could only hope that this ancient weapon, a relic of Earth's past, would serve as a powerful symbol in the battle for respect and recognition among the stars. In the depths of the Smithsonian Institution, the dimly lit hallways were filled with artifacts from humanity's past. Dr. Emily Carter walked briskly through the American History Wing, her footsteps echoing on the polished marble floor. She made her way to a display case containing a collection of antique firearms. Her eyes settled on the flintlock pistol, a relic from the American Revolution. The weapon was encased in glass, accompanied by a plaque detailing its history. It was a simple, single-shot firearm, its wooden grip worn smooth by the hands of its original owner. The metal parts were tarnished with age, but it still exuded a sense of historical significance. Dr. Carter carefully lifted the glass case and gently picked up the pistol. She examined it closely, marveling at its craftsmanship. Despite its simplicity, the gun had a certain elegance to it. She knew that this humble weapon had played a role in shaping the course of history. As she held the pistol, a security guard approached. "Is everything all right, Doctor?" "Yes, thank you," she replied. "I have authorization to take this artifact for a special project. Here are the necessary papers." The guard reviewed the documents and nodded. "Very well, Doctor. Please handle it with care." Dr. Carter carefully placed the pistol in a padded case and left the museum. She felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as she returned to the Kennedy Space Center. The pistol represented more than just an ancient weapon. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience and determination. Upon her arrival, she met with Captain Harris and the engineering team. Harris raised an eyebrow as he saw the small, unassuming case. "Is that it?" Dr. Carter opened the case and revealed the flintlock pistol. "This is it, a weapon from our past, a reminder of our ability to overcome adversity." Harris took the pistol and examined it, nodding thoughtfully. "It may look primitive, but it carries a powerful message. Let's see what our engineers can do with it." The engineering team, led by Dr. Raj Patel, began to modify the flintlock pistol. They integrated advanced technology into its design, carefully preserving its original appearance. The barrel was reinforced with nanomaterials, the firing mechanism upgraded with energy cells, and a small but powerful energy emitter was embedded within the gun. Days turned into weeks as the team worked tirelessly. The result was a fusion of old and new, a weapon that looked like an ancient relic but possessed capabilities far beyond its original design. The flintlock pistol was now a symbol of human ingenuity and adaptability. Despite diplomatic efforts, tensions between humanity and the UGF continued to escalate. The Federation's demands for Earth's resources and technology became increasingly aggressive. Unauthorized UGF ships conducted surveys on Earth's surface, often venturing into restricted areas and causing widespread panic. Reports of these incursions spread quickly, igniting public outrage. Protests erupted in major cities around the world, with people demanding that their leaders take a firmer stance against the UGF. The United Nations found itself under immense pressure to protect Earth's sovereignty. Captain Harris and Dr. Carter attended a high-level meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. The atmosphere was tense as world leaders debated the best course of action. Secretary General Maria Alvarez, a woman known for her calm demeanor, struggled to maintain order. "We cannot allow the UGF to continue these violations," said President James Mitchell of the United States. "Our sovereignty is at stake." Chancellor Angela Richter of Germany nodded in agreement. "We must present a united front. If we show weakness, the UGF will only escalate their demands." Captain Harris stood up, his voice steady and authoritative. "I agree. We need to demonstrate that humanity will not be intimidated. We have been working on a project that may help in this regard." He presented the modified flintlock pistol, explaining its symbolic significance and its new capabilities. The leaders listened intently, recognizing the potential impact of such a demonstration. "We will need to coordinate our efforts," Secretary General Alvarez said. "A show of force may be necessary, but we must also be prepared for the consequences." As preparations were made, the UGF continued their incursions, seemingly undeterred by Earth's growing defiance. The situation reached a boiling point when a UGF warship entered the airspace over Washington, D.C., causing widespread panic and chaos. Captain Harris and Dr. Carter, aboard the UNSC Ascendant, received the urgent alert. Harris immediately ordered his crew to prepare for action. "We need to send a clear message," he said. Prepare the modified pistol for demonstration. The Ascendant moved into position, ready to confront the UGF warship. Harris stood on the bridge, the flintlock pistol in hand, knowing that the next few moments could determine the fate of humanity. The time had come to show the UGF that Earth was not to be underestimated, and that even the simplest of tools could change the course of history. The United Galactic Federation, UGF, growing impatient with Earth's resistance, decided it was time to demonstrate their overwhelming superiority. A fleet of smaller UGF warships, sleek and bristling with advanced weaponry, descended into Earth's atmosphere. Their mission was clear: to intimidate and force Earth into submission. In Washington, D.C., crowds gathered nervously as the UGF warships hovered ominously above the city. The sky was filled with the eerie hum of alien engines. Military and police forces scrambled to maintain order, while the world's leaders watched from the United Nations headquarters. Captain John Harris, aboard the UNSC Ascendant, monitored the situation closely. His orders were to make a stand, to show the UGF that Earth would not bow to intimidation. By his side stood Dr. Emily Carter, clutching the modified flintlock pistol, a relic of humanity's past now infused with advanced technology. "Captain, the UGF is broadcasting a message," said Lieutenant Garcia, the ship's communications officer. Harris nodded, and the message was patched through to the Ascendant's bridge. The holographic image of General Vrax, a high-ranking UGF military leader, appeared. His scaly, reptilian features were twisted into a sneer. "Humans, you have one last chance to comply with the Federation's demands. Failure to do so will result in severe consequences." Harris stepped forward, his voice resolute. "We will not be bullied into submission, General Vrax. We seek peaceful coexistence, but we will defend our sovereignty." Vrax's laughter echoed through the bridge. "Defend? With what, your primitive toys?" His eyes fell upon the flintlock pistol in Harris's hand. "Is that your best weapon? How quaint." The tension in the room was palpable. Harris, undeterred, raised the pistol. "This is more than a weapon, General. It's a symbol of our spirit and our history, and you're about to see just how powerful that spirit is." Dr. Carter initiated the modifications, and the flintlock pistol began to hum with energy. Harris aimed at one of the UGF warships hovering above the city. The modified weapons targeting systems locked onto the vessel, and with a deep breath, Harris pulled the trigger. A beam of intense, focused energy shot from the pistol, striking the UGF warship. The ship's advanced shields flickered and failed under the unexpected assault. In a brilliant explosion, the warship was obliterated, pieces of its hull raining down harmlessly into the Potomac River. The crowds below erupted in cheers and astonishment. The display had not only destroyed the enemy vessel, but had also shattered the aura of invincibility surrounding the UGF. The message was clear: Earth would fight back. General Vrax's expression turned from smug amusement to rage. "You will regret this, humans. The Federation does not tolerate defiance." The communication cut off abruptly, and the remaining UGF warships began to reposition themselves for an attack. Harris turned to his crew, his voice firm. "Prepare for battle. We've sent our message. Now we must defend our home." As the UGF warships began their assault, Captain Harris and his crew on the UNSC Ascendant braced for the fight of their lives. The sky above Washington, D.C. became a battleground, with beams of energy and missiles streaking across the horizon. Dr. Emily Carter, still holding the flintlock pistol, was determined to show the UGF that humanity was not to be underestimated. The weapon's successful demonstration had given the people of Earth a glimmer of hope, but the battle was far from over. Amidst the chaos, General Vrax, commanding from his flagship, issued orders to his fleet. His frustration was evident, but so was his confidence. "Focus your fire on their primary defense installations. Show these primitives the true power of the Federation." The UGF warships unleashed a barrage of energy weapons and missiles, targeting Earth's defense grids. Explosions rocked the city, and the Ascendant's shields flared as they absorbed incoming fire. Harris directed his crew with precision, countering the UGF's attacks with everything they had. On the ground, the crowds watched in awe and fear. News cameras captured every moment, broadcasting the battle to the entire world. The sight of the Ascendant holding its own against the UGF fleet inspired millions. General Vrax, however, was not done mocking humanity. In a bold move, he opened a direct communication link with the Ascendant. His image appeared on the bridge's main screen, a look of derision on his face. "Captain Harris," Vrax sneered, "your defiance is admirable, but ultimately futile. Do you truly believe that your primitive technology can withstand the might of the United Galactic Federation?" Harris met Vrax's gaze without flinching. "We believe in our right to freedom, General, and we will fight for it with everything we have." Vrax's eyes narrowed. "Fight with everything you have? Like that toy you showed us?" He laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "That ancient gun? You humans are truly amusing." Dr. Carter stepped forward, the flintlock pistol still in her hand. "This toy, as you call it, just destroyed one of your warships. It's not about the weapon itself, but the spirit behind it. You underestimate us at your peril." Vrax's laughter stopped abruptly, replaced by a cold, calculating glare. "We shall see, Doctor. We shall see." The communication ended, and the battle intensified. The Ascendant's crew worked tirelessly to repel the UGF's attacks, using a combination of conventional and advanced weaponry. Harris and Carter knew they had to hold out until reinforcements could arrive, or until they could find a way to turn the tide. In the midst of the fight, Harris received a message from Earth's Defense Command. "Captain, we've detected unusual energy signatures near the moon. It looks like another fleet is arriving." Harris's heart sank. More UGF reinforcements? But as the new ships emerged from the shadows, their designs were different from the UGF warships. Harris's eyes widened in realization. These aren't UGF ships, they're something else. The new fleet, composed of sleek, angular ships, opened fire on the UGF warships, catching them off guard. Harris quickly hailed the newcomers. "This is Captain John Harris of the UNSC Ascendant. Identify yourselves." A calm, measured voice responded. "Captain Harris, we are allies. We have come to assist you in your struggle against the Federation." The tide of battle began to turn as the UGF found themselves facing attacks from two fronts. The new fleet's arrival gave Earth's forces the boost they desperately needed. General Vrax, now facing unexpected opposition, ordered a retreat. "Fall back. Regroup at the secondary coordinates." As the UGF warships pulled away, the Ascendant and its new allies pursued, driving them out of Earth's atmosphere. The battle was not yet over, but for the first time, humanity had hope. Captain Harris turned to Dr. Carter, a smile breaking through the tension. "It looks like we're not alone in this fight after all." Dr. Carter nodded, her grip on the flintlock pistol tightening. "We have allies, and with their help, we will show the Federation that humanity will not be laughed at or underestimated." As the UGF retreated, the mysterious fleet that had come to Earth's aid established contact with the UNSC Ascendant. Captain Harris stood on the bridge, his curiosity piqued. The new ships had shown incredible coordination and advanced weaponry, but their origin was still unknown. "Open a channel," Harris ordered. The main screen flickered, and the image of a humanoid alien appeared. He had dark, deep-set eyes and a calm demeanor. His uniform was elegant, adorned with symbols unfamiliar to Harris and his crew. "Captain Harris, I am Lauren of the Etherian Alliance," the alien began. "We have long opposed the UGF's tyranny and have been searching for allies. Your defiance and ingenuity have not gone unnoticed. We believe that together, we can challenge the Federation." Harris exchanged a glance with Dr. Carter, who nodded in encouragement. "Lauren, your assistance came at a crucial moment. We're grateful. But we need to understand more about your alliance and why you're willing to help us." Lauren's expression softened. "The Etherian Alliance consists of several civilizations that have suffered under UGF rule. The Federation's grip is not as strong as they would have you believe. Many of us yearn for freedom and have been gathering in secret, waiting for the right moment to strike. Your resistance has inspired us." Dr. Carter stepped forward. "What do you propose?" Lauren's eyes gleamed with determination. "We propose a coordinated effort to undermine the UGF's power. We have intelligence on their weak points, and with your help, we can rally other oppressed civilizations to our cause. Your symbolic victory with the ancient weapon showed us that even the smallest act of defiance can spark a revolution. Captain Harris nodded thoughtfully. We'll need to strategize and mobilize our forces. This won't be easy, but if we stand together, we might have a chance. Over the next few days, Harris and his team worked closely with Lauren and the Etherian representatives. They devised a plan to strike at the heart of the UGF's operations, aiming to disrupt their supply lines and rally other civilizations to join their cause. The flintlock pistol, now a symbol of unity and resistance, was kept close as a reminder of their mission. Lauren's information proved invaluable. The Etherian Alliance had extensive knowledge of the UGF's infrastructure, including key strategic locations and weaknesses. Captain Harris, Dr. Carter, and their new allies gathered in a secure war room aboard the UNSC Ascendant to finalize their plans. A holographic display projected the UGF's known territories, highlighting critical points of interest. Lauren pointed to a large structure orbiting a gas giant in a distant system. This is the primary supply depot for the UGF's fleet in the sector. If we can disable it, we'll cripple their ability to maintain control over this region. Dr. Carter examined the data. What kind of defenses are we looking at? Lauren nodded. Heavy defenses, both automated and manned, but we have a plan. Etherian cloaking technology can get a strike team close enough to infiltrate the depot and plant charges on key infrastructure points. Harris turned to his officers. We'll need our best for this mission. It's risky, but the payoff could be huge. We'll coordinate with the Etherians and prepare a diversion to draw the UGF's attention away from the depot. As the team prepared for the mission, the atmosphere aboard the Ascendant was charged with anticipation. Engineers and technicians worked tirelessly, ensuring that the ships were ready and that the cloaking technology was fully integrated. Soldiers trained rigorously, knowing that the success of the mission depended on their precision and bravery. On the eve of the operation, Harris gathered his crew and the Etherian strike team. This mission is crucial. We're not just fighting for Earth, but for every civilization oppressed by the UGF. Remember what we're fighting for. Stay sharp, stay focused, and let's show the UGF that their reign is coming to an end. The strike team, equipped with the latest in stealth technology, boarded a sleek, cloaked vessel provided by the Etherians. As they approached the UGF supply depot, tension mounted. The depot loomed ahead, a massive structure bristling with defenses. The cloaking field shimmered, keeping the strike team hidden from prying eyes. Inside the cloaked vessel, the team readied themselves. Harris, leading the mission personally, checked his gear and glanced at Dr. Carter. You ready for this? She nodded, gripping the modified flintlock pistol. Let's give them something to remember. The vessel slipped through the depot's outer defenses, landing undetected in a secluded hangar. The team disembarked quickly, moving with practiced precision. They navigated the depot's corridors, avoiding patrols and security systems. At key points, they planted charges, ensuring maximum damage to the depot's infrastructure. As they neared the final target, an alarm blared. The team's cover was blown. UGF soldiers poured into the corridors, engaging the strike team in fierce combat. Harris and Carter fought side by side, their determination unyielding. In the chaos, Dr. Carter found herself face to face with a UGF officer. She raised the flintlock pistol, its modifications humming with energy. The officer sneered, clearly recognizing the weapon. You think that ancient toy will save you? Carter smiled grimly. It already has. She fired, the pistol's energy beam cutting through the officer's defenses and sending him sprawling. With the charges set and the clock ticking, the team fought their way back to the cloaked vessel. They barely escaped as the depot erupted in a series of massive explosions, the shockwave rocking their ship. Back aboard the Ascendant, cheers erupted as the team returned safely. The mission was a success. The UGF's supply lines were severely disrupted, and the message was clear. The resistance was growing, and humanity, alongside their new allies, would not be silenced. Captain Harris addressed his crew and the Etherian allies. This is just the beginning. We've shown the UGF that we can strike at their heart. Now, we must continue to build our alliances and prepare for the battles ahead. Together, we will reclaim our freedom. With the successful sabotage of the UGF's supply depot, the momentum shifted in favor of the newly formed alliance. Earth's leadership, along with the Etherian alliance, knew that they had to capitalize on this victory and prepare for the next phase of their rebellion. The UGF would undoubtedly retaliate, and the alliance needed to be ready. In the underground command center beneath the Kennedy Space Center, Captain Harris and Dr. Emily Carter joined global military leaders and representatives from the Etherian alliance for a critical strategy session. The room was filled with holographic displays, tactical maps, and the hum of activity as experts and analysts exchanged information. General Marcus Steele, a grizzled veteran of Earth's military, took the floor. "We've dealt a significant blow to the UGF, but they will come back with a vengeance. We need to bolster our defenses and prepare for a full-scale invasion." Lauren, representing the Etherians, stepped forward. "The UGF is likely regrouping their forces for a counterattack. Our intelligence suggests that they are amassing a fleet at their nearest stronghold. We have a narrow window to prepare." Dr. Carter added, "We need to ensure that our technology is integrated seamlessly. The modifications we made to the flintlock pistol were just the beginning. We must enhance our current arsenal with the Etherians' advanced technology." Engineers and scientists from both Earth and the Etherian Alliance worked tirelessly to upgrade Earth's defenses. New energy weapons, advanced shielding, and cloaking technologies were integrated into Earth's naval fleet. Training programs were accelerated to ensure that soldiers could effectively utilize the new equipment. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continued to rally more civilizations to their cause. Delegations were sent to various planets, spreading the message of resistance and unity against the UGF's tyranny. The sight of the flintlock pistol, now a legendary symbol of defiance, inspired many to join the fight. In the shipyards orbiting Earth, the first of the new hybrid warships were completed. These ships combined human ingenuity with Etherian technology, resulting in vessels that were faster, stronger, and more resilient than anything the UGF had faced before. Captain Harris, aboard the UNSC Ascendant, reviewed the fleet's readiness with his officers. "Our new allies have given us the edge we need. But remember, it's not just our technology that will win this war. It's our determination and our willingness to fight for our freedom." As the preparations continued, Harris and Dr. Carter found a moment to reflect. They stood on the observation deck, looking out at the bustling activity in the shipyards. "Do you think we're ready?" Harris asked quietly. Dr. Carter nodded, her eyes fixed on the stars. "We have to be. This is our best chance to show the UGF that we won't be subjugated. We're fighting for our future, for everyone's future." The time had come for the Alliance to strike a decisive blow against the UGF. Intelligence reports indicated that the UGF fleet was massing at a strategic stronghold known as Jornath Station, a heavily fortified space station in a neighboring star system. The plan was audacious, a direct assault to cripple the UGF's command and control in the sector. The Allied fleet, now bolstered by ships from newly joined civilizations, assembled near the edge of Earth's solar system. Captain Harris, commanding the lead ship, the UNSC Ascendant, addressed the fleet via a secure channel. "Today we stand united against oppression," he began, his voice firm and resolute. "Our mission is to strike at the heart of the UGF's power. We have the element of surprise, advanced technology, and the indomitable spirit of our people. Let's show them what true unity looks like." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, emerging moments later near Jornath Station. The station, a massive construct bristling with weaponry and surrounded by UGF warships, loomed ahead. The Allied fleet wasted no time launching a coordinated assault. The battle erupted in a blaze of light and energy. The UGF, caught off guard by the scale and ferocity of the attack, scrambled to respond. The newly upgraded Earth ships and their allies maneuvered with precision, their advanced weaponry cutting through UGF defenses. Inside the UNSC Ascendant, Captain Harris issued orders with calm authority. "Focus fire on the station's shield generators. We need to bring those shields down if we're going to breach their defenses." Dr. Carter, monitoring the battle's progress, spotted an opportunity. "Captain, we've identified a weak point in their defenses. If we can disable their primary reactor, it will cause a chain reaction that could take down the entire station." Harris nodded. Send the coordinates to the strike teams. Let's make it happen. A group of elite strike teams, including Etherian operatives and Earth's best soldiers, deployed in cloaked shuttles. They navigated through the chaos, evading UGF patrols and defenses to reach the station's interior. The strike teams moved with precision, planting charges on critical systems and engaging in fierce firefights with UGF troops. Back on the Ascendant, the tension was palpable as the battle raged on. The UGF's reinforcements arrived, intensifying the conflict. The Allied fleet fought valiantly, using their superior tactics and technology to hold the line. As the strike teams neared the primary reactor, resistance stiffened. UGF soldiers, realizing the threat, launched a desperate counterattack. In the midst of the chaos, Dr. Carter found herself in a fierce confrontation with a UGF commander. She raised the flintlock pistol, its energy modifications humming with power, and fired, taking down the commander. With the charges set, the strike teams raced back to their shuttles. The reactor exploded in a blinding flash, sending shockwaves through the station. The shields flickered and failed, leaving Jornoth Station vulnerable. "Now's our chance," Harris shouted. "All ships, concentrate fire on the station." The Allied fleet unleashed a barrage of energy weapons and missiles, overwhelming the crippled defenses. Jornoth Station erupted in a series of massive explosions, debris scattering into the void. As the UGF fleet began to retreat, Captain Harris addressed the fleet once more. "We've shown the UGF that we are not to be underestimated. This is just the beginning. We will continue to fight, to liberate those under their control, and to build a future where all civilizations can live in peace and freedom." The victory at Jornoth Station marked a turning point in the war. The UGF, once seen as invincible, had been dealt a significant blow. The Alliance's ranks swelled as more civilizations joined the fight, inspired by the bravery and determination of the humans and their allies. For Captain Harris, Dr. Carter, and the rest of the Alliance, the battle was far from over. But with each victory, they moved one step closer to a future free from tyranny. The flintlock pistol, once a symbol of Earth's ancient past, now stood as a beacon of hope and resistance in a galaxy on the brink of liberation. The victory at Jornoth Station sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The United Galactic Federation, UGF, was reeling, and the news of their defeat spread quickly. The once seemingly invincible oppressors had shown a vulnerability that emboldened other civilizations to rise up. In the aftermath, the Allied forces regrouped to plan their next move. On board the UNSC Ascendant, Captain Harris and Dr. Carter convened with Lauren and other key leaders of the Etherian Alliance. The mood was triumphant, but tempered with the understanding that the UGF would strike back hard. "We've shown them our strength, but the UGF will not let this go unanswered," Lauren warned. "They will likely consolidate their forces for a decisive battle." Captain Harris nodded. "We need to maintain our momentum. We've shaken their confidence, but now we must target their central command. A decisive strike could cripple their ability to coordinate their defenses and inspire more revolts." Dr. Carter reviewed the latest intelligence reports. "Our spies have located the UGF's main command hub. It's heavily fortified, but if we can infiltrate and disable their central command network, it will leave them in disarray." As the plan took shape, the Allied fleet prepared for what could be the most critical battle of the war. Special units were assembled, and the latest technological advancements were incorporated into their ships and weapons. The flintlock pistol, a powerful symbol of their resolve, was kept as a reminder of their mission. The Allied fleet set course for the UGF's central command hub, a massive space station orbiting a distant planet. The journey through hyperspace was tense, with every crew member aware of the stakes. As they emerged from hyperspace, the station came into view, surrounded by a formidable fleet of UGF warships. Captain Harris addressed the fleet. "This is it. Today, we strike at the heart of the UGF. Remember, we fight not just for our freedom, but for the freedom of countless civilizations oppressed by their rule. Let's show them what we're made of." The battle began with a coordinated assault on the UGF's defensive fleet. Advanced Etherian cloaking technology allowed the Allied ships to get in close before unleashing their firepower. The initial strike caught the UGF off guard, but they quickly regrouped and fought back with fierce determination. In the midst of the chaos, a small team led by Dr. Carter and Lauren infiltrated the command hub. Using stealth and cunning, they navigated through the station's labyrinthine corridors, avoiding patrols and security systems. Their objective, the central command center, where they could plant a virus to disrupt the UGF's network. The fighting intensified outside, with the Allied fleet pushing forward despite heavy losses. Captain Harris coordinated the assault, directing ships to key positions, and adapting their strategy to counter the UGF's tactics. The modified flintlock pistol, now a legendary symbol, was kept ready for use in a critical moment. Inside the command hub, Dr. Carter and her team reached the central command center. They encountered stiff resistance, with UGF soldiers defending their stronghold. In a fierce firefight, Carter's team fought bravely, using their advanced technology and training to overcome the defenders. At a crucial moment, Dr. Carter found herself face-to-face with a high-ranking UGF officer. The officer sneered, recognizing the flintlock pistol in her hand. "You think that relic can save you?" Carter aimed the pistol, its energy modifications glowing with power. "It's not the weapon, but the spirit behind it." She fired, the energy beam piercing the officer's armor and sending him to the ground. With the command center secured, Lauren planted the virus into the central network. The UGF systems began to fail. Communications broke down, and their fleet coordination faltered. The Allied fleet, sensing the shift, pressed their advantage. Captain Harris seized the moment. "All ships, concentrate fire on their remaining defenses. This is our chance." The combined might of the Allied fleet overwhelmed the UGF forces. The command hub's defenses crumbled, and explosions rocked the station. The UGF fleet, now in disarray, began to retreat. The battle was won, but the cost was high. The Allied fleet had suffered significant casualties, but their victory was undeniable. The UGF's central command was in ruins, their fleet scattered, and their grip on power weakened. Captain Harris addressed the fleet once more. "We've struck a decisive blow today. The UGF is on the run, and their tyranny is crumbling. But our fight is not over. We must continue to push forward, to liberate those still under their rule, and to ensure that freedom and justice prevail across the galaxy." Inspired by the destruction of the UGF's central command hub, rebellions erupted across the galaxy. The UGF's once tight control began to unravel as oppressed civilizations rose up, emboldened by the success of the Allied forces. The fall of their command center had sown chaos and confusion among UGF ranks, leaving their territories vulnerable. The Allied fleet, now hailed as liberators, moved swiftly to support these uprisings. Coordinated strikes against UGF strongholds and supply lines further weakened the Federation's ability to maintain order. The momentum was firmly on the side of the rebels. On the ground, Captain Harris and Dr. Carter led missions to liberate occupied planets. The sight of human and Etherian soldiers fighting side by side with local resistance forces galvanized the oppressed populations. Each victory brought more recruits to their cause, swelling the ranks of the Allied forces. In one particularly daring mission, Harris and Carter landed on the planet Ilaris, a heavily industrialized world under strict UGF control. The local resistance had been struggling, but with the arrival of the Allied forces, they saw a glimmer of hope. Harris addressed the local resistance leaders. "We're here to help you take back your world. The UGF is weakened, but they won't go down without a fight. We need to hit them hard and fast, disrupt their operations, and rally the people to our cause." The plan was set into motion. Coordinated attacks targeted key UGF installations, while resistance fighters took to the streets, urging their fellow citizens to join the revolt. The Allied forces provided support, using their advanced technology to disable UGF defenses and provide cover for the uprising. Dr. Carter, working closely with the Resistance's engineers, helped adapt the flintlock pistol's technology for use by local fighters. The modified weapons became symbols of the rebellion, much like the original pistol had become for Earth. The simplicity of the design, combined with advanced capabilities, made them effective tools in the fight for freedom. As the battles raged across Alaris, the tide began to turn. The UGF forces, already stretched thin and demoralized by the loss of their command hub, found themselves unable to contain the uprising. Key installations fell one by one, and the people of Alaris took back control of their cities. In the capital city, Harris and Carter led the final assault on the UGF's headquarters. The fighting was intense, with UGF soldiers making a last stand. Harris, wielding the legendary flintlock pistol, led the charge. The sight of their leader with the symbol of defiance inspired the rebels to push forward with renewed vigor. As the UGF forces were driven back, Harris and Carter made their way to the central command room. Inside, they confronted the UGF's regional governor, a stern figure who had ruled Alaris with an iron fist. "You've lost," Harris said firmly. "Surrender now, and you may yet find mercy." The governor, defiant to the end, sneered. "You think you've won? The UGF will crush you all." Carter stepped forward, the flintlock pistol in her hand. "The UGF's time is over. The people of Alaris and the galaxy will be free." The governor lunged, but Carter fired the pistol, the energy beam striking true and ending the confrontation. With the fall of the UGF's headquarters, Alaris was liberated. The victory on Alaris was echoed across the galaxy as more planets rose up against their oppressors. The UGF's forces, now spread too thin to effectively respond, crumbled under the combined pressure of the Allied forces and local rebellions. Back on the UNSC Ascendant, Captain Harris and Dr. Carter reviewed reports from across the galaxy. The revolution was gaining momentum, and the UGF's control was rapidly disintegrating. Harris looked out at the stars, a sense of determination in his eyes. "We've come a long way, but the fight isn't over yet. We need to keep pushing, keep fighting, until every last trace of the UGF's tyranny is gone." Carter nodded. "And we will. With every battle we win, we bring the galaxy one step closer to freedom." The Allied forces, now a symbol of hope and liberation, continued their campaign, knowing that their ultimate goal, a galaxy free from oppression, was within reach. The flintlock pistol, once an ancient relic, had become a beacon of resistance, proving that even the simplest tools, when wielded with courage and determination, could change the course of history. With the UGF's grip on the galaxy rapidly weakening, the Allied forces prepared for their next major offensive. The ultimate goal was to liberate the capital planet of the UGF, Zalthar Prime, a heavily fortified world that symbolized the Federation's power and control. Taking Zalthar Prime would be the final blow to the UGF's reign. Captain Harris and Dr. Carter, along with Lauren and other key leaders, gathered to plan the assault. The war room aboard the UNSC Ascendant was filled with holographic displays and tactical maps. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and determination. "Zalthar Prime is the heart of the UGF," Lauren began, pointing to a holographic projection of the planet. "It's heavily defended with multiple layers of security and a significant fleet presence. This won't be an easy fight, but it's necessary. If we take Zalthar Prime, we dismantle their command structure." Harris nodded. "Our intelligence indicates several critical targets: the Central Command Center, the primary shipyards, and their main power grid. We need to coordinate a simultaneous strike on all these fronts." Dr. Carter added, "We'll also need to disable their planetary defense systems to allow our fleet to penetrate their atmosphere. Our best engineers have been working on an EMP device that can take down their shields temporarily." The plan was ambitious, but the Allied forces were ready. Ships from newly liberated civilizations joined the fleet, swelling their numbers and boosting their morale. The hybrid warships, a testament to the cooperation between human and Etherian technology, formed the spearhead of the assault. As the fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Harris addressed the gathered soldiers and crew members. "This is our moment. We're not just fighting to defeat the UGF. We're fighting for the freedom of every being in the galaxy. Let's show them what we're made of." The fleet emerged from hyperspace on the outskirts of the Zalthar Prime system. The UGF defenses were formidable, but the element of surprise was on the Allies' side. The EMP device was deployed, sending out a powerful electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled the planetary shields and disrupted communications. "All units move in," Harris commanded. The Allied fleet surged forward, engaging the UGF defenses in a massive space battle. The sky above Zalthar Prime was filled with the glow of energy beams, explosions, and the maneuvering of countless ships. Strike teams, including elite units from Earth and the Etherian Alliance, descended onto the planet's surface. Their objectives were clear: infiltrate and disable the command center, destroy the shipyards, and knock out the power grid. Harris led a team targeting the command center, while Dr. Carter joined the team responsible for the power grid. Lauren and his forces focused on the shipyards, aiming to cripple the UGF's ability to produce new warships. The fighting on the surface was intense. UGF soldiers, desperate to defend their homeworld, fought fiercely. Harris's team navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the command center, engaging in close-quarters combat with UGF troops. The flintlock pistol, now a legendary symbol, was at Harris's side, its modifications making it a powerful weapon in the tight confines. Dr. Carter's team faced heavy resistance as they approached the power grid. Using a combination of stealth and brute force, they planted explosives on key infrastructure points. Despite the UGF's efforts to stop them, Carter's team succeeded in their mission, detonating the charges and plunging the city into darkness. At the shipyards, Lauren's forces fought a brutal battle against entrenched UGF soldiers. The shipyards were a sprawling complex, and the fighting was fierce and chaotic. But the Allies pressed forward, determined to achieve their objectives. As the battles raged on the surface, the space battle above the planet reached a critical point. The Allied fleet, though outnumbered, used superior tactics and technology to gain the upper hand. The hybrid warships proved their worth, outmaneuvering and outgunning the UGF fleet. With the power grid down and the command center compromised, the UGF's defenses began to crumble. Harris and his team stormed the central command room, capturing key officers and securing vital data. The remaining UGF forces, seeing their defeat was imminent, began to surrender. The liberation of Zalthar Prime was a turning point in the war. The fall of the UGF's capital sent shockwaves through their remaining territories, triggering more uprisings and defections. The Allied forces, now seen as liberators and heroes, continued to gain support and momentum. With the fall of Zalthar Prime, the UGF's power was shattered, but pockets of resistance remained. The Federation's most loyal and fanatical forces regrouped at their final stronghold, a heavily fortified station known as Bastion Omega, located in a remote and treacherous region of space. Captain Harris, Dr. Carter, Lauren, and the Allied leadership convened to plan the final assault. The destruction of Bastion Omega would mark the end of the UGF's tyranny and bring lasting peace to the galaxy. Bastion Omega is their last refuge, Lauren explained, showing a holographic projection of the station. It's heavily armed and surrounded by treacherous asteroid fields. This will be our toughest battle yet, but we must see it through. Harris nodded, determination etched on his face. We've come this far, and we can't stop now. Every battle, every sacrifice has led us to this point. Let's finish what we started. Dr. Carter, studying the schematics of the station, formulated a plan. We need to disable their external defenses to allow our fleet to get close enough for a direct assault. Our strike teams will infiltrate the station and take out their command center from within. The Allied fleet, now a formidable force with ships from dozens of liberated civilizations, set course for Bastion Omega. The journey through hyperspace was filled with a mix of anticipation and resolve. Every member of the fleet knew the significance of the upcoming battle. As they approached the asteroid field surrounding Bastion Omega, the fleet slowed to navigate the treacherous terrain. UGF patrol ships immediately engaged, and the battle began in earnest. The Allied fleet moved with precision, using their advanced technology and tactics to outmaneuver the defenders. Deploy the strike teams, Harris ordered. Cloaked shuttles launched from the fleet, weaving through the asteroid field and heading for the station. Harris, leading one of the teams, felt the weight of the moment. This was the culmination of their struggle. Dr. Carter, armed with the legendary flintlock pistol, was part of the team, tasked with disabling the station's defenses. They landed in a secure hangar and quickly moved to their objectives. The corridors of Bastion Omega were a maze, filled with traps and UGF soldiers prepared to defend their last stronghold. The fighting was intense and brutal. Harris's team faced heavy resistance as they pushed toward the command center. Dr. Carter's team, using a combination of stealth and force, managed to disable key defense systems, allowing the Allied fleet to advance. In the command center, Harris and his team confronted the UGF's last remaining leaders. The battle was fierce, with the defenders fighting desperately. Harris, wielding the flintlock pistol, led the charge, inspiring his team to push forward. Dr. Carter, meanwhile, encountered a heavily fortified control room. She knew that disabling the station's power core would cripple Bastion Omega and end the battle. With her team providing cover, she fought her way to the control room and set the charges. As the charges detonated, the station's systems began to fail. The Allied fleet, seizing the opportunity, launched a massive assault on the now vulnerable Bastion Omega. Explosions rocked the station, and UGF ships were forced to retreat or be destroyed. In the chaos, Harris and his team stormed the command center, capturing the remaining UGF leaders. The defenders, seeing their cause was lost, began to surrender. The battle for Bastion Omega was over. Captain Harris addressed the fleet and the galaxy. "Today we have defeated the last remnants of the UGF. Their tyranny is at an end. From this moment forward, we will build a galaxy based on freedom, justice, and cooperation. We will honor the sacrifices made and ensure that such oppression never rises again." The victory at Bastion Omega marked the end of the UGF and the beginning of a new era. The Allied forces, united by their common cause, began the long process of rebuilding and establishing a fair and just galactic order. Dr. Carter, standing beside Harris, looked out at the stars, knowing that their struggle had not been in vain. The galaxy was free, and the future was bright. With the fall of Bastion Omega and the definitive end of the United Galactic Federation's UGF reign, the galaxy entered a new era. The Allied coalition, formed from the ashes of oppression, faced the monumental task of rebuilding and establishing a just and fair governance system across the liberated worlds. Captain John Harris and Dr. Emily Carter, now celebrated as heroes, took on leadership roles within the coalition. Their experience and vision were crucial in guiding the galaxy through this transition. The UNSC Ascendant, once a symbol of resistance, became the flagship of peace and cooperation. In the Galactic Council chambers on Earth, representatives from newly liberated civilizations gathered to draft a new constitution. The atmosphere was charged with hope and determination as they debated the principles of the new order. "We must ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated," Harris addressed the assembly. "Our new government must be built on the foundations of democracy, equality, and mutual respect. Every voice must be heard, and every civilization must have a say in our future." Dr. Carter, working closely with scientists and engineers from across the galaxy, spearheaded initiatives to share technology and resources. The coalition focused on rebuilding war-torn planets, providing humanitarian aid, and fostering scientific collaboration. One of the key projects was the establishment of the Interstellar University, a center for learning and innovation open to all species. It became a beacon of knowledge and a symbol of the unity that had emerged from the conflict. Meanwhile, Lauren and other leaders of the Etherian Alliance helped integrate former UGF territories into the coalition. Their insights and experience were invaluable in addressing the challenges of governance and reconciliation. In a significant ceremony, the flintlock pistol was enshrined in the Hall of Galactic Heroes on Earth. It stood as a testament to humanity's resilience and the indomitable spirit that had inspired countless beings to fight for their freedom. During a visit to the newly established university, Harris and Carter were approached by a group of young students from various planets. One of them, a bright-eyed Alarian, asked, "How did you find the courage to stand against the UGF when all seemed lost?" Harris smiled. "It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt and fear, but we knew that our fight was just and that we were not alone. The courage came from the hope of a better future and the belief in the power of unity. Dr. Carter added, "And never underestimate the power of a single act of defiance. Even the simplest tools, like this flintlock pistol, can change the course of history when wielded with conviction and purpose." As the galaxy continued to heal, the Allied coalition implemented policies to promote peace and prevent future conflicts. They established the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, a multinational fleet dedicated to maintaining order and protecting vulnerable civilizations. The UNSC Ascendant, now repurposed as a peacekeeping vessel, led missions to ensure stability and aid in reconstruction efforts. The once oppressed civilizations flourished under the new governance. Trade routes were reopened, cultural exchanges thrived, and scientific advancements accelerated. The spirit of cooperation and mutual respect became the guiding principles of the coalition.